Become a patron at www.patreon.com/Golden Era Bookworm for hard to find books, scans of rare photos, and articles on the golden era of bodybuilding. Hi everybody, Golden Era Bookworm here, and today I'm going to share with you some of the training methods and exercises that John Grimek used during his preparation for the first Mr. America competition. As many of you may already know, John Grimek was a successful weightlifter for the York team in the 1930s and in the early 1940s. However, it is said that during a number of these weightlifting shows he attended, he was called upon to pose and perform muscle control or posing. He did this almost reluctantly, much to the adoration of the screaming crowds, and then realized that he was destined to become a bodybuilder and began to specialize in bodybuilding movements, emphasizing specifically on developing broad shoulders, the tiny waist, and a deep, massive chest. These photos taken at the event demonstrate the physique that he was able to develop using the bodybuilding methods I will describe today. Here is the mighty John Grimek in all his glory. Just look at him, thick musculature all round, tapering down to that tiny waist. Fantastic. Now, in a recent article I read written by Gordon Venables, he witnessed John Grimek training thousands of times, and Grimek used the set system as an example to develop his physique as a bodybuilder. To specialize specifically on his biceps, to quote Gordon Venables, Grimek curled and curled until his already huge biceps reached the incredible 18-inch mark. If that isn't the set system, I don't know what is. Grimek used a variety of different positions when curling, for example, standing, sitting, and leaning forward, using different equipment such as the barbell, dumbbells, and the swing bell, which is not used nowadays, but I'm going to elaborate more on this particular apparatus and the use of it in this particular video. He would also perform his curling movements in front of a mirror to ensure maximum contraction and extension. Pictured here is one of John Grimek's favorite movements, the bent over swing bar curl. To perform it correctly, you want to sit at the end of a bench as shown in the diagram with legs apart. You grab the swing bell, which should be sitting on the floor, with the arms extended and raise. At this point, you bend over just a little bit and curl the swing bell up towards the chest and then lower slowly to repeat. This is why it's called the bent over swing bell curl. It's almost like doing a seated concentration curl, except you're using a swing bell to perform the motion. John Grimek also specialized on building his chest using the incline bench like most Silver Era bodybuilders did back in the day. His favorite exercise on the incline bench was the dumbbell incline bench press, much like Reg Park, with hands very wide apart as shown in this diagram of Grimek performing the exercise. It is said that Grimek would usually work with 75-pound dumbbells, which equates to about 30 kgs, but would on occasion rep out with 90-pound dumbbells and even 100-pound dumbbells, similar to the strength of Steve Reeves. Another apparatus that Grimek preferred was the decline bench, where he would perform the decline dumbbell fly to carve out and sculpt his chest. Now, John Grimek, being an excellent weightlifter back in the day, of course, used many weightlifting movements, which obviously gave him great thickness in his back. I mean, if you think about weightlifting movements, which involve deadlifts, cleans, and high pulls, this is going to really build the extensors at the back. It's going to build the traps. It's going to build thickness in your teres major and minor, your rhomboids, everything, your lats. They're all going to get worked. So he developed great thickness from doing weightlifting motions. Of course, to specialize more on developing the latissimus in particular, as a bodybuilder, he used the lat machine as shown in the diagram here. However, back in the Silver Era, remember that there were only cables attached to ceilings, and so what they actually did was the latissimus pull down, or the lat machine pull down, while being seated on the floor as shown in the diagram. And they would pull it either towards their chest if it was at a 45-degree angle, or if they were more directly under the actual cable, they would perform the exercise by pulling it down to the back of their necks. And so these were the two major variations used when using the lap machine back in the silver era. Now, a lot of people are also interested in the silver era methods for developing the waist, and in particular John Grimek's. Well, Grimek's opinion on training the abdominals is rather different to that of the golden era. For example, John Grimek did not like doing lots of sit-ups because in his own opinion and in his own experience, it actually helped develop the external obliques, which therefore led to the development of a blocky waist and took away from the V-taper effect that he was wanting to achieve. I mean, he wanted to keep his waist tiny, and so he actually did not perform lots of sit-ups, but I'm pretty sure that he still did, because if you look at some of the books where he is featured in, which I'm going to talk about in a minute, such as Weightlifting by Bob Hoffman, he does perform the sit-ups. He just does not perform hundreds or thousands of sit-ups like golden era bodybuilders did. Now, other considerations to take into account when considering these training methods and exercises that I've talked about with John Grimek is that John Grimek had already been training for over 20 years with weightlifting. So you have to understand that he already had a very strong foundation. Basically, he had already acquired a lot of bulk with weightlift movements. And so he was not afraid to train hard. Believe it or not, he trained basically every weekday for about 2 hours from 4 to 6, and on weekends on Saturdays from 2:30 to 5 p.m. But understand that this is a very mature bodybuilder who's been training for 20 years and achieved an elite level of weightlifting, able to represent the US at the Olympics. Now, if you're interested in learning more about John Grimek's training methods, I do recommend you get to my website. I wish to direct you there because you will find 2 excellent books which talk about some of the methods that John Grimek used to develop his physique. These are relatively unknown books, but they are excellent masterpieces in my own opinion. And they are Weightlifting, written by Bob Hoffman, and also The Greatest Silver Era Bodybuilding Programs, which is essentially a summarized version of the Raider Master Bodybuilding and Weight Gaining System. Now, Weightlifting, written by Bob Hoffman, to me it's an excellent book. It's superb and almost uniquely showcases John Grimek and the exercises he performed to develop his physique. Most people don't know about this treasure of a book, and many people say that there are no books out there which talk about the exercises and training methods that John Grimek used to develop his physique. But this unknown book does just that and really goes into great depth with awesome photos of John Grimek as well as the York Gang throughout the book, performing all sorts of weightlifting and bodybuilding movements. Just because it doesn't say, bodybuilding methods by John Grimek, it doesn't mean that it's not a great book about John Grimek. It is. It talks about weightlifting, talks about bodybuilding, and shows John Grimek, just like I've shown you one of these page excerpts here. You can see John Grimek performing the alternate dumbbell press. That's one of the many pictures you're going to find of John performing many of the exercises that are described in this book. It truly is a treasure trove, this book. Now, of course, the other book I want to talk about is The Greatest Silver Era Bodybuilding Programs. It's also an excellent book, which is 130 pages long and describes the mass building programs of the legends, such as the 20 rep squat, the 20 rep deadlift, breathing pullovers, ribcage expansion, and much, much more, such as the Raider chest expansion exercise. It goes into a lot of, you could almost call silver era secrets. They're not secrets really, but it's just that these exercises are so unknown and not practiced nowadays that they seem like secrets. But these really are the greatest bodybuilding programs from the silver era, which John Grimek, Reg Park, Clancy Ross, Steve Reeves all used to develop their physique. Another excellent book. It really is my go-to book. It's a fantastic book. All of these books and more are available at my website, www.goldenerabookworm.com. So I do hope you have enjoyed watching this video on the bodybuilding methods of John Grimek and the ones he used to develop his physique for the Mr. America competition. If you have, please like and share, and subscribe if you haven't for more content like this. If you would like to support the channel, become a patron or check out my website for how to print books and courses on old school bodybuilding, and get in touch via email to collaborate or pass on your bodybuilding relics, books or magazines. I love it when people send me their stuff because I will preserve it. And if you wish to donate, please do so via PayPal. That's it from me. This is the Golden Era Bookworm saying bye for now. To take full advantage of my collaboration with Old School Labs, please visit their website and choose from their marvelous range of supplements using my code BOOKWORM12. And for an entertaining look at the history of bodybuilding's supplement industry, I would highly recommend watching Subs the Movie, which I have collaborated in, available at Amazon Prime and Vimeo.